I want to show you a very funny short clip of Republican Senator Marco Rubio. Rubio appeared on Fox News last night after Joe Biden's State of the Union address. And it is so funny what Rubio says. I'm not even going to tease it for you. OK, let's just play it and then we will discuss.
You didn't hear a lot of talk about pregnant men tonight. You didn't hear a lot of talk about some of these crazy things because they're pivoting now to an election mode and they know all that stuff is toxic. So they're trying to pretend it's not happening, but it remains at the core and at the heart of their administration. Not a lot of woke talk tonight, except for the climate stuff, which, by the way, he doesn't tell you, benefits China.
Marco Rubio realizing in real time, Joe Biden didn't talk about pregnant men. Joe Biden didn't talk about woke stuff. He says it's because they're pivoting to election mode. The reality is Joe Biden never was talking about this stuff. And in fact, these are very small issues on the Democratic side, on the left, in the Democratic Party. I will not deny for a second that if you spend a lot of time on Twitter or Reddit, you might see a whole bunch of stuff about wokeness and so-called pregnant men and all of these things. I don't deny that you might see that if you spend a lot of time on these platforms. But if you spend a lot of time on those platforms, you would have been one of the people in 2020 who thought that Bernie had the nomination wrapped up and that there was no interest in Joe Biden being the nominee. And as I told you then, as I will repeat now, the discussions that dominate some of these online spheres are not actually the issues of greater concern to the vast majority of the Democratic Party, nor of the constituents of the Democratic Party either. And there was a reason that you didn't hear a lot about about pregnant men last night, which is it's not actually an issue that is at the forefront of the minds of almost anyone on the left. I would actually go even further. Part of the reason that those sorts of things even come up at all are because the right has abandoned policy and only wants to talk about that sort of thing. It is because the right brings forward issues of they're putting cat litter boxes for furries who are for people who think they're animals or don't even know how to define furry. But that's not a real story. But it is the right that creates the story. It's the right who says they want double mastectomies for prepubescent girls. Wait a second. Do they have breasts if they're prepubescent? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's the right that is crowbarring a lot of these issues in. None of this stuff has ever been at the heart of the Democratic Party. And this is why looking at Twitter isn't super useful to figure out what's going on in the US overall and what's going on within the Democratic Party. Maybe Marco Rubio is realizing that. If you want to see this clip, it's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The David Pakman Show.